Unplugged, the podcast where community culture and wellness take the spotlight. I am your host, David Villarreal, joined today by two very special hosts. Go ahead today.
Hi guys, my name is Sarah Lozano and I'm the data analyst for UCD.
Awesome.
Hello, everybody. I'm Claire Garza, and I'm the facilitator here at UCD.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. And this is a bit of a new take that we're going forward with Unidos Unplugged. So it will now be primarily the backbone, just leading the episodes. We're going to be talking about all things health, health fads, trends, anything like that we see within our organization and that's just going on in the world. And then as guests come in or other organizations come in, we will also be able to highlight them and whatever it is that they have going on in their organization. So we hope you enjoy it, and we hope you find some value in this episode, and we can just go ahead and get right into it with what's new, anything new that we've been seeing just in the health world that we've noticed. It could be within our organization or just out in our normal day-to-days.
That's a good question.
I feel like there's a lot and there's always something new.
Yeah.
Very true.
Do we want to just hit on one, or do you guys have anything that you guys want to start off with? I'm open to whatever.
I think we can start off with what you have already planned. And
So, we've been seeing a lot of talk about GLP-1s. I know it's like it's like the buzzword right now, right? So, I guess I'll get y'all's take on it, and then we can kind of just discuss. Again, just really quick disclaimer: we are not health professionals.
Yep.
We are just giving our takes and our opinions on what we see in our community. You want to start today?
He's putting you on the
again,
spot.
I know. I just want to reiterate this is an opinion. We're not medical professionals.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I think it's a great tool, definitely for people who need that extra push, right, to get them going on their health track. The only thing that I have spoken about here in the office and with those that mentioned GLP-1s is that I feel like a lot of people, while it is a good tool, a lot of people sometimes they think it's gonna fix their issues, and like as far as metabolic issues, right, or just their overall health, and I don't think that's the way to see it.
I definitely agree, and I think you said the right word when you said tool, right? It's definitely a great way to start your health journey, to kickstart that, especially, as we get older and, I'm in my 30s, so it is hard to lose weight. I do struggle. And so it's nice to have something that kind of helps and kickstart, and you're starting to see that change, but it isn't a long-term solution. And I think that's what people need to realize is, like, you need to meet yourself halfway. You need to meet the GLP-1 halfway and not assume, like, put all your faith in that and be like, that's really what's going to do it all. No, like, make the healthy changes, exercise, like, do the research,
Right. So I do have, I'm a bit opinionated on this topic. I do a lot of presentations in the community, even with, doctors and physicians. I have done a bit of my own research as well. And I think just what we're seeing, and this is not just coming from me, this is also coming from some of the physicians I've been able to speak to, it's just a lack of education. So the thing is that there is a negative stigma surrounding GLPs. And a lot of that, with my own research and conversations that I've had with these physicians, that's getting dispelled. But it's like anything else. Anything else that we take, any sort of medication, even, Advil, ibuprofen, stuff like that, it's all labeled like, hey, certain dosages or certain, up to a certain amount, because everything can and will have side effects to a certain extent. So what I'm seeing is that a lot of these rumors about, there is rumors about it affects like your bone density, it affects other areas of your body negatively. That has been getting dispelled as we learn more and more about these medications. What's happening though is that people are not getting educated on them. People are taking these medications like they are some sort of magic pill. They are relying solely on the medication, and all their weight loss, all their success, all of that is then attributed to the medication, when in all reality they don't know what's really going on, what's really what effect it's really taking, because in a lot of these cases they're going to med spas, they're going to beauty spas and getting these things done just as a cosmetic.
And a lot of the times these side effects, right? And you you mentioned that, like the bone density, hair loss, or your skin looking a little dull.
Stuff that we
It's
hear,
not.
yeah.
It's not necessarily from the GLP-1, but it can also be all that lack of protein. You're not eating enough. Maybe
Exactly.
you're not eating the right foods because lack of education, right? You're going to the med spas, or you're getting the GLP-1 however you're getting it, but you're not aware of, like, okay, yes, I'm going to eat a lot less than where I was at before.
Right.
But what are you eating? Is it protein? Is it fiber? And you're not getting all that good stuff. So that's really the important part. And you hit the nail on the head by saying educate yourself. That's the
Right.
best thing to do.
I think that's very key, and that's what we often see a lot in our community, right? A lot of people taking GLP-1s without being educated. And I think you brought a good point, Claire, that yes, it's going to decrease your appetite, but unfortunately, a lot of people are not conscious of the fact that, hey, I'm eating less, but that also means that I need to eat nutrient-dense foods. And that really is key, because that's the way we see a lot of people, like with their hair falling and, losing bone density and all that kind of stuff. And so I think it's very important for people to be aware of that.
Perfect. But people are not taking this initiative to, educate themselves, or even the places where they're going to. Maybe they aren't themselves properly educated. So again, all of this stuff, good and bad, is attributed to the medication that they're taking, right? So what we're noticing too is, again, with the nutrition side of it, yes, they're becoming nutrient deficient because they are not properly supplementing and or eating enough because of the medication. To kind of, counteract like their nutrient deficiencies, right? But in all reality, again, since they are not educating themselves on it, they are not putting in that effort to get to that point, because what I'm assuming what a lot of people are doing, which again, it's been discussed at large in just various scenarios that I've been in, is that these people are probably still going to their favorite fast food chain and just getting their usual meal. But now that meal lasts them maybe even the whole day, or they just eat a couple bites and then that's it. They are never
There's no nutrients in it.
right, and they're never taking that extra step to be like, hey, you know what, I'm feeling like this, I'm noticing this in my skin, or this and that, because they have never taken that extra step to kind of become educated on it, right? So again, all things good and bad is being attributed to these to the medication. Now on the flip side, most physicians are on board with it, and hopefully, I know accessibility is a big topic as well amongst this. Most physicians are on board with it, but again, the way it's being issued out right now, and the way people are going about it, as far as like maybe a cosmetic where some people don't even really need it, they're just using it because they see it as a tool to help them reach their goal quicker. If done properly and for the right population of people that do need it, they do see a benefit from it. I don't know if you guys are still on that boat, or you guys are like, it shouldn't even be a thing.
I think it should be a thing. I mean, obviously the natural route always, is always recommended. I would think it's usually the safer, better route, but because it'll actually help you change your habits, which is ultimately what it comes down to, right?
Right.
But I think some people do need that kickoff and that motivation. Like, hey, I'm losing weight. Let me start changing my habits. Let me keep this weight, or keep these going through changes. I mean, because you're not going to change your habits from one day to the next, right? That's what we always tell people that we interact with. You're not going to lower your A1C from one day to the next.
No.
You can't just cut off everything that is considered unhealthy, like from one day to the next, because it's just not sustainable, right? And so I do think that the GLP-1s are good for the right population, and with those with the right mindset about how it functions and that are educated about it.
I agree. And what's that saying that says, like, it takes 30 days to kick a habit? Like,
Right.
you've spent so much of your time either eating a certain way or, living a certain lifestyle. So you can expect yourself to just be like, oh, I'm taking it for 2 weeks and it's going to do a 360 change on my life. Like, it's just not, it's not going to happen, right? There's no miracle pill that's going to do that,
Right.
outside of maybe doing like some plastic surgery, right? But it's really just making the change. And I think that the GLP-1s, or whatever you're taking on that, is helping kickstart and kind of forces you to make the change because you're not able to consume enough. It's just educating yourself on what it is that you're intaking.
Man, it's crazy. I feel like it's just come. I don't know if it's just because of the line of work we're in. but it's just kind of like a storm,
Ah,
and we don't
social
even,
media, man.
yeah, and I mean, like, when's the last time you heard even like fad diets? Like, that's not a thing anymore because of these medications. It's like,
You got Serena Williams like
right.
on it too, and she's promoting the heck out of it.
I haven't heard
I've seen
about
that.
I haven't heard about keto. I haven't heard about paleo. All these things, right? That we're so used to. Hey, I'm doing this because it was people. I mean, I'm not one for fad diets, but it was people experimenting like, and now it's just like, nope, I'm just taking the even with fitness.
Yeah.
That it's not even. I don't see a lot of people that are on this medication that are even really working out because again, you were hearing running was a big thing. People are joining run clubs, and it still is, right? But now it's just like I'm just taking the shot. I don't hear a lot about like, hey, I'm doing this new fitness thing. I'm doing high rocks. I'm doing high intensity.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna give you like yes and no because I
Yeah.
still see with the rise of GLP-1, I still see people trying to like be fit and be healthy. Like
Right.
there's a big thing on Pilates and like yoga and hot yoga and I think running is coming back too, like you said. Like
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of people like join running clubs and trying to find that sense of community, going to classes. So I do see that trend happening as well. I see it on like, unfortunately I am on social media, chronically online. So I see it on like TikTok and Instagram where people are like, oh, I went to this class. And I think that's great. I
Right.
think it's great that it's happening right now. Sorry.
You good? You good?
Someone take over.
I actually it spawned because I looked down here on my notes. I had a very brief conversation with a guest that we've actually had on our podcast, Isaac Ansundua. He's a registered dietitian here in the RGV. He was great. I believe his episode has been out, so if you haven't heard it, please go
Check it out.
take a listen. And he was we were just kind of going back and forth through text, and he mentioned something about this is just like we're just getting started. The medications are getting better.
Oh, we're talking about the GLP-1s.
Yes,
Okay.
the like he's like
I was like, is he doing Pilates too?
So no. So it's
just the beginning.
So he's like, it's not gonna be. It's here to stay, basically.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is that
Yeah,
like,
with science, right? We're always going to get a new
he didn't
drug.
say it it wasn't in a negative aspect, but he's like, it's just gonna be getting better. But again, to what extent? To what point does it get to where we're just reliant on that?
Yeah, and my fear, and it's funny because I was having this conversation this past weekend, is unfortunately, or at least this is just my take, right? This is my opinion, but I am seeing people on this that are younger and younger. And that's the real fear, is because it's on social media, because people are like Serena Williams are over here promoting it and saying, I lost X amount of weight.
Like 20-year-olds?
It's trending.
18?
Yeah, you're seeing 18, 19-year-olds who are struggling with their weight loss and that are not making the change, or maybe they want to look good. They're young,
scary.
they want to look good, and that's not a crime, but it's like now they want to be on this because they want it to be quick, and that's where I get a little bit like worried, right? Because we want these healthy habits, and we preach this a lot of the time, and we do outreach, is to start them when they're young. Let's start teaching them the importance of drinking water, eating vegetables, portion control, and if they're not learning these healthy habits, and then just, okay, I know that at 18, 19, I'm going to get on this and I'm going to lose all the weight anyway. Like, I'm hoping that that's not where it takes us.
That's scary. I had no clue that it was.
No,
starting that
actually,
young.
you're right. I have one of my friends on, and she has her son who's in high school, and she started promoting through him. And you don't want to come off as that judgmental person, but
no.
yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it happen. Yeah.
So I'm not. There's no names or nothing being mentioned. One of your friends. She has one of her kids on a GOP.
Yeah, I think
And
he
this is
just graduated or something.
What?
Like that, but
So 18.
yeah, 18, 19. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a conversation with someone
Man.
who's also she was 17 going on 18, and she started taking it because she was a little bit overweight.
And like Claire was saying, it's not a matter of being overweight or anything like that. In this particular scenario, her son is she always posts about him, this is the way I know, but he's in competitions and whatnot, and even prior to that, like, she would post that she was at the gym with him, and they're both very fit, but I think it's just one of more of those things where, like, you want to look a certain way, there's a certain beauty standard. Even, like,
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
men.
I'm curious. This has piqued my interest. In what way is she? So there's nothing. What was the purpose of her son initially jumping on it?
I don't know. She just started saying she
Maybe
just started promoting
fine tuning.
Yeah, well, I guess if you want to get more cut or something, leaner.
Oh,
like
so
look
he didn't
leaner.
have he didn't even really have a need.
No, that's what I'm
I
saying.
was
He
coming
didn't. Like, they
from
No,
both go to
yeah.
the gym together, you know, and they both are very fit. But she recently started promoting it because I guess she's selling it, and yeah, she started posting the results on her son, like, oh, he lost X amount of weight in such amount of period of time.
Is she highlighting like checkups maybe that he's done that indicate that he's fine? So what?
I mean, see, that's that's where you don't want to it's kind of, I don't
It's
know.
a sensitive subject.
It's a sensitive subject.
Let me rephrase.
Yeah. Rephrase.
Again, we're just giving our thoughts. But again, we get to the point where again now we're saying, which is news to me. I didn't think it was starting this young. It's starting younger and younger. The medications are getting better. They're getting more effective, whatnot. So then let's say we all end up, and let's say we all have access, just for the sake of the story. We all end up like we have access to these GOPs. We're all thin, but then again, are we just because we're thin? We know this because of the line of work we're in. Just because you're thin doesn't conventionally make you healthy.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So again, everybody has this. It's gonna be like we're in like a dystopian future where we're all thin, we all have chiseled jawlines,
It's like
and we're
opposite
all,
of Wall-E.
right, and we're all just like, okay, but are we healthy? Are we actually healthy, or we're just
and I guess
become
that's
so
what we're
reliant on
trying to get the community to understand, right? It's not all about looks. And when it comes to the GLP-1s, the bottom line that I would like to get across is that, it's fine. Just be conscious that it's not a long-term solution. And also the fact that, hey, you need to also make sure that you're having those nutrient-dense foods and making sure you're having all your nutrients, just, eating them.
It's funny. And it's like a personal story, right? But I went to the doctor and we were talking about like I'm trying to lose weight and be healthy and just make my own changes, right, to be healthier. And the question they asked me was like, well, how much weight do you want to lose? Like, what do you want the number on the scale to look like to you? And I said, I don't really care about the number on the scale. I just want to be healthy. I want to like the way I look. I want my, my cholesterol to be good. Like, the number doesn't mean anything if it's not a healthy
isn't it a
right.
little
number.
bit,
But it was crazy that was what
yes.
asked. Like,
and then you're at the doctor's.
yeah, I was like, wait, that shouldn't.
This is your primary health physician.
Yeah,
just being like,
yeah. Because I was like, what do I need to do? And I was talking to her, like, same, honest conversation, right? And I'm having it now, like, I'm struggling with this, and just what can I do on my end? Obviously, work out, eat healthy, be mindful of what you're eating, all that stuff. But, we had that, and I was like, to me, this is just my opinion, the number doesn't matter if it's not a healthy number. I could be
I agree.
over 200 pounds and be really healthy and fit, and maybe it's muscle, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I could be underweight, but I think that our society has just put so much emphasis on beauty standards. And if you say that number out loud, like, oh, I weigh 200 and whatever pounds, and that's like, oh my God, like it, and so people feel a certain way. And I think it's just that's making that change of like, you just trying to maybe not you want to be a certain, don't fit the number, but be healthy.
And it's unfortunate that people are having to start doing their own research because unfortunately, I'm not going to say that all doctors, right? I'm sure there's good doctors out there. But unfortunately, that's the case with most primary doctors. And, they I don't know if they're desensitized. I don't know if, they're just so used to it, or I don't know.
They see too many.
But it's happened to me too. And, it's unfortunate that people have to start looking for their own almost diagnosis, right?
Yeah.
On their own, when you should be relying, or should be able to rely on primary doctor because, they're the experts.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but going back, like, and this is the emphasis, and hopefully the takeaway from this episode is like education, and the quick fix is not the solution. I think that would be my takeaway from this.
And it segues perfectly into my next little topic. You will not convince me that a preteen or 17, 18-year-old child, that is that is their solution.
Okay.
On that same note, we are seeing very all the way from middle school, which is what maybe even younger, since 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
So from that to 18, we are seeing a huge influx and increase in prediabetes in our younger
Childhood
generation.
obesity is on the rise.
Again, I'm not saying, oh well, then again the solution's already here. It's the
yeah.
GLPs. You're not. I'm sorry, but I don't know. Maybe just because my kids are young right now, I just really don't see that being in their future. I don't want that in their future, and I don't want them to develop this, like how you were saying right now, Claire. Oh, okay, it's fine because when I turn 18 or whatever, I can have access to these medications and I'll be fine.
So then I'm assuming you're taking the steps as a parent to like educate your child in like healthy eating, healthy habits.
Right.
Okay.
But again, we're seeing a huge influx and a huge increase in all these in prediabetes in all these younger teens or adults, younger adults, we'll call them that. What is it? We know, but let's just just for the sake of getting it out there. What do you guys think is causing this?
The rise of diabetes?
Prediabetes or
unhealthy habits. I'm gonna say you have.
I just feel like it's hard to pinpoint something. Like, I mean, let's start with processed foods, right?
Yeah.
We talk about that often in our work, right? We see a lot of like the lines at McDonald's, like nonstop, like the lines at Whataburger, all those fast food chains, Chick-fil-A. And while there's nothing wrong with occasionally have it, unfortunately, and it is the reality of a lot of parents, you know what? It's the easier thing to grab. It's
cheaper.
It's
more affordable.
But it just, I think a big part of it, like I said, I feel like there's many things and it's hard to pinpoint one, but part of it is just our culture and like our eating habits and what we choose to eat and put in our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, for, the main thing for me is it's fine if you want to have a Chick-fil-A, right? But at the end of the day, is it giving you all the nutrients that you need? And I feel like, I personally feel, and I know we've talked about it in the office before, I feel like a lot of the chronic diseases does come down to nutrient deficiencies. If you were just to focus on that and what you're eating, it would change your health a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But,
right. Claire?
I mean, and I do agree with Sarai, right? I mean, there's, or this is a testament to like where we live, but every corner is a Whataburger, a McDonald's, a Burger King is just where we're at right now. I mean, we can name 3 of them within like a mile radius, maybe 4.
Maybe less than a mile.
Yeah, like I can walk to it if I wanted to, right? As opposed to, and maybe they're getting grilled chicken. I don't know. I doubt that, but it's the easier thing, and I understand that. And I'm not a parent, so I'm not gonna say like I understand like, oh, it's after school and after work and I'm tired and I can't cook, and it's just the easiest thing for me. I have a lot of our families that we serve have 4 or 5 kids.
Yep.
So it's easy to get the 40 pack of chicken nuggets and it feeds everybody and it's under $20.
Yep.
I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But then my take on that is like, and we've had this conversation before, right? It's also expensive to be unhealthy. It's expensive to go to the doctor.
yeah.
It's expensive to now have to take insulin or whatever you're having to take to supplement the lack of nutrients that you're talking about. So maybe the $20 that you spent over there was like, oh, it's what I could afford. I understand that.
Right.
But long term, what did that do to you? Now, we hear this a lot when we go to our outreach events, and from the parents, because that's typically sometimes who we talk to, right? It's that they feel it's expensive to be healthy. You go to H-E-B, you go to Sprouts, or wherever you're getting your groceries and your produce from. It's expensive. Well, okay, like, is it? Or is that in your head?
It's
like, are you buying expensive products? Like, let's look at what your budget is and try to make a healthy choice.
Right.
Let's grain grice, beans. I can get a bag of beans for probably less than $2.
Yeah.
So it's just lack of education, and I'm gonna get in trouble for this one, but like, don't be lazy. Like, I'm not a parent, but make the conscious choice for your kids to live healthier lives, because especially if you as a parent are already unhealthy and maybe you're struggling with your weight or you're struggling with your health journey and you're like, man, it's hard. I'm struggling. Don't want that for your child.
Right.
And maybe that's just a hot take on my end, and I'm just saying that because I've seen it. I've witnessed it myself, and it is hard. So and it all goes down to education, really. as my take on that.
I agree. Yeah, education has to do a lot with it, and I feel like that. Again, it just comes. I really feel that if people were to be more educated about these things and the long term effects of certain decisions that they take in their daily life, like I think they would really more motivated into make that effort to take
like it's insane the amount of times we hear, "Oh, my kid drinks apple juice." Do you read the nutrition label on that and realize it has like 23 grams of sugar, if not more, depending on the apple juice you get? My kid, it's because they like Gatorade. Great. Like, I like a lot of things, but it doesn't mean they're good for me. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean? So as a parent, and who's the parent?
Right.
I feel like we're putting a lot on the parents.
Right?
and but I mean, you're right. And I lost my train of thought here, but you were laying down a lot on the parents, but it really does make a difference when the parents just take the time to learn about these things.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And a lot of times it's innocently. The parents don't know how many times have we
Right.
had people come to our sugar display and they're like, you know what? I heard it several times before when I was doing more outreach, right? And it was like the parents would look at the Fanta and be like, what? Like it has that much sugar, like
Yeah.
70
It has
some
more.
grams?
It has more than a Coke. Because,
Yeah, and they're like, and one parent straight up told me, like, I thought it was healthier just, because it looks like orange juice. And it has the orange
Yeah,
like,
'cause of the
and
color.
it has no orange juice, turns out, right? So, and it just comes down to parents and just, they're just not educated, right? And it's not their fault. We're a product of our environment too, right? But
And it's hard. It's hard. It's not, but
I loved that it's just been sitting with me. I loved the point you made, because if now we're seeing our kids, our younger generation's health decline at a much faster rate from such an early age, I think you made such a good point in the sense of that it's going to get to the point where being healthy and being unhealthy / eating / your habits, the costs are going to balance each other out.
yeah.
Think about it, because if you're starting at, again, all these kids are anywhere from the age of 7 to up to their teens. What's all that looking like? What's all that care and all that medication and all that stuff that kids are now having to start at such an early age? What's all those costs associated with that? It's going. I believe it is going to end up to where being unhealthy becomes more expensive than just taking a little bit of time, learning, finding some resources that you can trust, that you can understand, to educate yourself, to be like, you know what, we can do this. We as a family can take those steps and take those initiatives to be healthier. Because again, I will die on this hill. You will not convince me that GLPs are the way to go in the future for even the younger generation. There is no way. One other thing that nobody had touched on that I feel is maybe even bigger than the nutrition side of it. Right here.
The phone.
Technology. We all love it. We are all obsessed with it. We cannot live without it.
Screen time.
These kids are just... I'm only saying that because I go back to my childhood.
Yeah.
And maybe all of us experience the same thing. These foods existed when we were also growing up.
Yeah.
When we
did, but I'm gonna stop you right there.
Yes, I knew you were going to say something. I felt it.
Yes, I've been really big, and everybody knows here at the office about like learning more about nutrition. Like certain ingredients in our food, what was in our food back then versus what it is now, right? Because we see and we hear a lot of people talk about, especially on social media, right? Like, hey, well, I ate this 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and I'm fine, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
Because it depends on how you define fine.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
But if you look at all of the things, now if you look at the ketchup, it's got like 20 ingredients there. Back then, it only had maybe 2 or 3 ingredients.
You're absolutely right. And I'm not gonna say, oh no, that's not the case. That is the case. We've seen it, like where we'll see like before and afters of like back in the day and now.
All the additives.
Absolutely, you're right. Everything's processed now and all that. I'm saying it more as like we still had access to McDonald's.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I get what you're
but
saying.
the difference was that we didn't have access to this. I mean,
Yeah.
I was out.
I see your point.
We
The
all,
calorie intake was probably the same anyway, but you
Right.
were more physically
You were-
active.
But
We're going outside
but again, it's hard to find a word to to be like politically correct. I don't think lazy is a like you used, Claire. I don't think it's
I think it's just being more
bad,
conscious about
but
the
let's be
benefits.
conscious. Like,
Yeah.
like again, and I'm a parent, and I'm not gonna pretend I'm working, and my wife's at home, thankfully taking care of the kids. So I'm not gonna pretend like I know what she goes through, or like that's not a big task and a big job in its own right. But because I know how kids can be. But man, it's like nowadays I just see it. It's like the parents don't even want to get to the point of like hearing anything from the kid or from their children, like, that they're like, no, here, just take
Yeah, it's an
take
easy
the tablet.
fix.
And I'm like, man, like that's not even. Are we even really parenting? Like, I don't know. It's just again, if we.
It's a sensitive subject, but it is true. It is true. You know, I see it a lot, and sometimes, I mean, I've seen the benefits. I try to keep my daughter screen free as it can be, right? And I do see the benefits of it. She is more socially aware, and she, you know, she's not one to sit. And that, you know, sometimes you have to realize that that's just kids' behavior.
Yeah.
You know, that's just nature. Like, they're going to
Right.
be talking, they're going to be moving around. They're not going to sit there as an adult, you know, just sitting for a whole straight hour or 30 minutes. You know, they're kids. They want to explore. Everything's new to them.
But kids are way. I'm telling you because I remember, I would tell Sarai when she was getting ready to get into this parenting journey, and I was like, kids are so much smarter than we give them credit for.
Absolutely.
Trust me, they know. So we took that initiative. I think we started at like 2 years old, and it's just instilling those kind of like habits on, hey, it's up to here, where hey, screen time's over, or hey, you had a snack earlier, you're good, you're fine.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, and sure, believe me, and my wife can attest to it. She was like, hey, like she's freaking out, this and that, and I'm like, okay, well, if we give in, when she's my
gonna
oldest
know.
is 4,
Yeah.
she's gonna know. Hey, if I get fuzzy for enough time, my parents will break, and they'll get, and
They'll
it's
break.
True. It's true because I'm telling you, kids are so much smarter than we give them
They
credit
are,
for.
they are
And now
smart, yeah.
we're seeing. I'm not trying to like, this is not like a parenting thing, but now we're seeing like the benefits of that. My oldest, she's awesome, man. We can be out with her all day. She's not fuzzy. She's having a great time. She's talking to us.
She's social.
It's great. And I'm like, again, all it took was, hey, we had
Put
to
up with
invest
the first 2 years.
but you know what? It's crazy. It's like all it took was a little bit of parenting.
Yeah.
Who would have thought, right?
And I mean, again, I'm gonna say this again. I'm not a parent, but I'm assuming like she's your first, right?
Yes.
So maybe your second will be easier because she's gonna see what her older sister, like, that's normal. Like you know what I mean?
We're actually
like,
seeing, because my
a little trickle down is what I'm saying.
we're actually seeing a little bit of pushback
Oh,
from
really?
the second, yeah. But again, I tell my wife, I'm like, hey, we've already been through this.
Yeah.
We're just gonna go through it
Gotta
again,
push
and if
through.
it's a little bit harder, it's a little bit harder. But we're sticking to our guns because we've seen those benefits. It's
Yeah.
just that's it. Yes, every child, every family, every dynamic is different. But I'm like, man, it really doesn't take much to put in a little bit of
Yeah,
effort.
and it's like inevitable, right? Like they're gonna touch a tablet at some point because
Yeah.
now it's even in schools. Like
Yeah.
they're giving it to you because you're learning from it. So
Yeah.
they're gonna experience it at some point. But like it's nice for them to have their childhood and not
Yeah.
and be outside and be aware and be social and play and figure out their fine motor skills as opposed to
Right.
just holding a tablet in their hand for hours.
Right.
So I think to your point that it is important for them to have balance, I guess, because maybe they're learning something on the tablet if it's like Miss Rachel or something. I don't know what's like trending with that, but and they're learning colors and things like stuff like that. But it's also important for them to build and to do puzzles, and so it's just finding balance. But even as adults, like how many times do we come home from work and like if I don't turn the TV on to watch YouTube, I'm on my phone for the last 2 hours of work. After work.
You're absolutely right,
So,
because today I brought
Let's not put it on the kids.
today I brought my gym clothes with me,
Mm-hmm.
even though I still have to technically drive by my house
Yeah.
to go to the gym that I go to, and I brought the gym clothes with me because yesterday I got home and I didn't end up going to the gym.
Yeah.
So today I'm like, I'm gonna change after work here and just go directly to the gym. So yes, you are right, and we need to be also examples,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. We have to be examples.
Um,
It's not easy. Like I see
yeah.
my phone, like my light go on, and I'm like, I need to look at it right now, and it's like, why?
Exactly.
You know, if it was an emergency, they're going to call me, and everyone that it was an emergency, they were in my house, you know?
Right.
So it's just, we're so programmed.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, the main takeaway from this, right, and where you were going with this, is that it's all about balance. We're not bashing
Yeah.
on screen times. It's just, you know, being more conscious about kids specifically because they are a younger population, right? They're the ones building those
And-
healthy
Yeah.
habits now. But
And I do see hope. Oh, it sounds a
Sounds
little.
like Superman.
I know. I do see a little bit of it's still a norm. Like kids, if you guys have friend groups or whatnot that have kids as well, they still love to play. They still they still love being kids. Like that's
Yeah.
still around. So I'm like,
Yeah.
if anything, we're doing them a disservice by just having them, because then as they grow older, then that's when all those, habits just stay with them, and now it's even harder to kind of, you didn't take that initiative early on, and now, that they're older, it's a lot
I
harder.
feel like as a parent, you can talk about parenting all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Anyways, again, to bring it back to circle back, what
Like, what do you,
what
last
can we- what
final
can-
words.
What can we do? What can we do to again? I'm not convinced about GOPs starting at such an early age.
No,
The
same.
nutrition, we touched on it, reducing screen time, stuff like that. Any other tips or stuff that maybe we just haven't thought of or haven't voiced out loud that we're like, hey, if we implement this, more parks. I know even now in the
Yeah.
schools, it's a big thing with
I
recess,
think-
and now that bringing that back.
On an individual level, right? Like and we've used this word multiple times and educating yourself, but like knowing yourself and what works for you, because maybe like you like going to the gym and you like however you want to find your outlet to both de-stress but also exercise, like knowing what you like if you want to go on a 30-minute walk and listen to a podcast, like do it, but just
Yeah.
like find that healthy balance in your life.
Yeah.
It's really important to educate yourself on what you're eating, what you're consuming. Is it good for you? Are you getting the nutrients you need? Maybe you're vitamin deficient, you need
Yeah.
fiber, I don't know, right? But also know yourself and be like, you know what, actually I really, really like yoga. Okay, go do yoga. And I think that's important. And I think, personally, that's what I'm trying to do with myself is like find out, different ways to exercise that I enjoy doing and it doesn't feel like a chore,
Yeah.
or I don't know. But that's my takeaway or my tip is just like educating yourself on the things you're eating, but also knowing
And again,
what,
that's a great point, because that will trickle down into our children.
absolutely.
If we're parents. So, anything you want to add to it we'll do one more little question that I had in mind, and then we'll wrap it up so we don't go too long here.
I would just say, I know that sometimes, and I felt this way, I don't know if anyone of our listeners can relate, but sometimes doing the right thing can be a little intimidating. Or,
Ooh, that's good.
because like sometimes, and it got me thinking right now,
Yeah, that's
sometimes,
real.
sometimes I'm sitting there with my daughter, right? At certain places, like at a party or something, and they want to, everybody else, all the other kids are having pizza and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if my daughter were to ask me for pizza, and I know there's different opinions about this, like, oh, like you eat the pizza because then you're going to traumatize her and she can't have certain things, But, sometimes if I can get away with her not paying much attention to the pizza, I'll feed her what I'm eating. Like if the adults, quote unquote, food.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the chicken or whatever we're eating as adults. Like, why does she have to eat different? And, I feel sometimes that puts a little pressure on me because people might not even care. Maybe it's just a me thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can feel weird doing something different for your kid because, hey, everybody else's kids are having
No,
pizza.
but you know what? We live
Or
in a society where, unfortunately, people will probably see it and
Yeah.
but
or like I've heard it, not to me, right, but like I've seen other people talk about like, es que no lo deja ver televisión. She doesn't let her kid like watch TV. Like that's considered
that's the
extreme.
issue.
Like that, like I've heard that. I've heard
You're a
that many
bad
times.
mom.
Yes, and it's like we
crazy.
really need to have like a change in mindset about those kind of things. And if people, again, if they were just educated enough, if they were just aware of what these things do to our kids and how it can change their lives, like I think less people would be judgmental and more kids would be healthier.
What's that?
That's a great
That's
take.
just those are just the pressures of society that are getting put on you
But
and the fact that it is your family, it is your child,
Yeah.
right? And you will, I'm telling you, you will see those benefits and those rewards play out in your daughter as she's getting older and as she's growing up. And you're gonna be like, you know what? I don't care that somebody so and so
yeah,
made a face at me, or that so and so was like, oh, she doesn't let her kid even be a kid. No, no, no. Trust me, if
Yeah.
that is the role you're taking with your child, stick to it, and you will see those
Yeah, and
benefits.
But I
for
say
them.
that because it also comes down to like even myself. Like there's been changes that I've made in my life for health reasons, and it's just preventative, right? But there's been, and sometimes I feel like even my mom will say like, "Es que ya no comes esto," like like ya no comes nada, or like whatever, and
Yeah.
it's not that, right? I have changed my eating habits for better, and again, even I'm sure my mom doesn't mean anything bad by it, right? But again, it comes down to, well, like you feel a certain way, right? Because you're
Yeah.
no longer going with the norm, right? And so like when it comes to when it comes to other individuals out there, like don't be afraid to take the healthier choice that is best for you.
Yeah.
This is perfect. This segues perfectly into
love the way you said that. That was
into
great.
the last little question I had, and I know Sarai probably has a good amount of input on this. I have one little take that I thought of just because I was in the grocery store earlier. It's, are healthy foods always actually healthy? Right? So check this out. We've been seeing a huge push and movement for the whole artificial food dyes.
Yeah.
Right? Even the big companies,
That Red 40.
Frito-Lay and yeah, the Red 40. Everything now, again, I'm seeing it because I was at Walmart, and it's like Doritos has
Is it the naked Doritos? Yeah.
all the companies now, they're like slapping it in the front now. Free from artificial dyes of any color. Da 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 da.
I already have a lot to say.
Right. Let me give my take, because I think conventionally it is a good thing. Hey,
Yeah.
let's get that stuff out of our foods,
Yeah.
because again, more than anything, a lot of that stuff is what children are consuming. Right? So again, I am for that, but here's the part,
The kicker.
that people fail to realize. You're still eating something that's highly processed,
Yep.
probably not cooked with the best oils,
No nutrients.
no actual nutrients.
No actual nutrients. Yeah.
And again, I don't know about you guys. I can get a bag of regular Doritos and I can get a bag of naked Doritos, and I will sit there, and both bags I can finish in one sitting.
Yeah. Is the calorie
does-
difference
Right.
different? No.
And that's what people are failing to realize. And I think we're seeing a little bit, again, now it's a big thing now that I am for. It's a positive. It's a net positive, but hey, you're still consuming all those calories from something that's just really not providing any nutritional value to you.
Yeah.
So again, it begs the question: are healthy foods actually healthy for you?
Yeah, well, we're not saying that Doritos are healthy or that the naked Doritos are healthy.
No, I'm saying just again,
I understand
people are putting such an emphasis of like, hey, they're dye free now. I did it with you guys here in the
Yeah.
office when I'm like, hey, they already have them at the Walmart, and I went and I tried the Cool Ranch and the regular ones and even the hot Cheetos. But then at the end of the day, you sit down and you're like,
I thought.
hey man, I'm still consuming all these calories from
Yeah, I didn't know
empty
you were.
calories.
I didn't know that's where this was going. I thought you were thinking of like when you said are healthy foods actually healthy. I was thinking of like, oh, I ate yogurt, like a regular
No,
yogurt,
no.
and then if you look at the yogurt nutrition label,
Right.
and in your mind, like I had a yogurt. There's sometimes depending on which yogurt you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of sugar. There's additives in yogurt.
But again,
That's what I was thinking you were
back to the education.
Yeah,
portion of
yeah,
it.
100%.
Just because it's yogurt doesn't mean that it's healthy. We see tons of yogurts, especially for children, that
Yeah.
are full of added
a
sugar
lot of sugar
and
yeah.
calories. And so I think I understood your question, David, but healthy, quote unquote, right, isn't always healthy at all. If anything, it's interesting because when we started seeing this whole movement about removing dyes and all these kind of things, I remember seeing this one video on Reels, and it was like, you can basically make anything look healthy and sound healthy, just the way you market it.
Heck
Right.
yeah.
There's a lot of products that have non-GMO, like
Organic. Slap that
quote
organic
unquote
word on
organic.
anything.
Yeah, like mind you, chips and organic. But
Yeah.
is it like, does it still have the calories?
Baked.
Yes. Does it still have like probably seed oils?
Yeah.
Yes. Like, all these kinds of stuff. So not too long ago, you had sent me a picture of a Pepsi, right? That was it had no artificial.
It was a Pepsi probiotics. So it's
my
literally
God.
Pepsi with probiotics.
Pepsi
Yeah.
probiotics.
And
It's
if you looked at
crazy.
one of the I looked up the ingredients because it really caught my attention. I'm like, probiotics, like what? And if I remember correctly, the probiotics that it was made with still came from corn syrup. So I'm like, that's not.
But just the fact that it's on there in the consumer's head, they're like, yeah, that's healthy. I'm getting a Pepsi and a probiotic in one. Like, give me all, you know?
Right.
Yes.
So to your point, no, just because it looks healthy or just
Sounds
do
healthy,
your
but-
research. Like, no, yeah, that's what I'm consuming. Even in your produce, like, where is it? Clean it. It's all about the educating yourself and knowing what you're consuming.
Right.
And you know what? It can definitely be very overwhelming. Like really, like you have to check every single ingredient. And unfortunately, even if I know there's a big movement on using the app, like the Bobby approved app, or like there's so many apps I can't remember all the names right now.
Mm-hmm.
But those things constantly change. So honestly, my best, I guess, what is it called? Feedback. My best advice is just. The majority of the time, what I do is because, again, it can be very overwhelming. Stick to whole foods. You cannot go wrong with whole foods.
Yeah, great tip. I would say that too.
So on that note, perfect. It's just kind of, again, stuff that I'd been seeing that I'm like, well, that's true because again, I was a prime example. All this movement about like, hey, let's get these dyes out of our foods because it's a healthier, healthier future for us and for our kids. And it's like, okay, great. And it's still happening right now because now they even have the little like party packs and it's all naked, Doritos all naked products, right? And there's a bunch of them. I'm just using Doritos because we're all pretty familiar with it. But yeah, I think it's just we lose ourselves in that aspect and we just really don't realize like, hey, I'm still consuming all these calories and all these processed foods, and it's still not inherently the best thing for me. Again, all of y'all made great points. If I were to add my own point, it would just be like what Sarai said. Hey, let's try to stick to whole foods.
Yeah.
And if the weekend comes around and you go to a carne asada, you go out with your family, you go to whatever. We all have different sorts of events and things that
Treat yourself.
Right.
Yeah,
Hey, if you go to the movies and for the most part most of the week you've been, I don't want to say on your diet. I'm just saying like how
try and make healthy choices.
Eating the way we should be.
Yeah, try and make healthy choices.
Hey,
for sure.
If you love the movie theater popcorn, okay, go for it. Have it.
It's all about balance.
It's all about balance.
We don't want you to deprive yourselves,
Exactly.
and that's not good for anybody because then you're like not happy.
So on that note, I'm not saying to even if you're like, you know what, man, whatever. I want the regular Doritos. I don't want the dye-free ones. Okay, but just let's not make it an everyday.
Yeah, I'm gonna like just a quick tip on that because like I'm a salty person. I do like chips and salty snacks. But my sister recently, she's also a salty snack person as well, and she bought like the mini bags
Of what?
of chips, like the ones that are like what is like 10 or 18 bags in the box or whatever. That's like for party size or for. She bought the mini ones. And it like le da la tentación. Like she'll have the little bag and she's like, I'm good. Like I wanted a couple chips as opposed to, and this is what we were talking about. And I know this is like going on a tangent, but like she was like, if I buy the big bag and the bag is open, easily accessible to me, right? I'm gonna finish it or I'm gonna eat half, and that's a lot.
Yeah, that's why I've heard people say before that like whenever you're serving yourself something, anything, do the portion size in a bowl or something.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you can just keep eating from the bag, especially if you're watching TV. Before you know it, you're halfway through the bag.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great tip. Like, and we all do it. I'm not going to claim to be the healthiest person. It's just making the changes, right? But I've started doing that. Like, I'll have that one little bag, and I'm good.
Yeah.
Same with like, I'm not a sweets person, but she is, and she bought like the very mini chocolates. She'll have like one. And then that's it. The bag's closed. It's away. As opposed to having a king size bar and it's open, so she's gonna finish it. So like it was just a tip, but yeah. Sorry.
Great. No, this is all great. I think that's it for this episode. Anything else you guys might want to just add before we close out? If not, I can wrap this up. And actually, on the next episode, which kind of Claire just triggered me to think of, we can maybe get into also some of like I don't want to call them food traumas, but how we correlate, like, I had a bad day and I just stuff like that's maybe like if we're just we're not having the best mental health day, stuff like that.
Let me stop at Dairy Queen and get a blizzard.
Yes, stuff like that we all do, and we can all all share personal experiences.
You know what? That's good.
And but if anything else to add before I close it out, guys?
No, absolutely not. Thank you
Good.
for having us.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Unidos Unplugged. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope to see you on the next one. Thank you.